So there'll be no cooking oil. So you can find someone is vegan, but they're still using industrial seed oils,
Yes.
which are, of course, chemicals. But someone who is ITAL will not consume industrial seed oils and they'll not consume also animals, absorb. And that's why sometimes children can embarrass you because they have absorbed so much. So we as a family would not introduce the television, and they are not being like pushed that they have to wake up very early, that they have to wake up early. And that's one thing I realized with the normal education that we have. The problem is that children have to wake up very early at 4, 5, then they're going to preps. So what happens is that the children, what we're creating are not children, but rather they're robots to work in manufacturing.
So, okay, I'm not a mother yet, but for me, I believe venye utaraise mtoto wako, kama for example, niwaambie wafanye some activity. Kakifanyanga ka activity kengine nye umekapea na ni hard task. Unaona? Wewe unacheza mind game na mtoto.
So Toto, we can't help but notice your distinctive green accessories. And if I'm not wrong, the one on your neck is written ancestors. If you don't mind, we would want to know is there something behind it or what is it about?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but it's also interesting because the first time we met, and the way we met was so sweet. I remember it was at night. Sweet things happen at night.
Hey.
So I went to her uncle's place. The place is called Akachit, which means nest in Iteso. So we went there, and then when we met, she was also reading. So it's written, and she was doing this. I let her hold my neck.
Okay.
So she was reading spirits, ancestors, and nature. So that's what I believe in: spirits, ancestors, and nature. I don't believe in a God that kills his children and does what and says that, that type of conditional love is, it doesn't really resonate very well with me, whereby someone is conditional. So I want you to remember, what do I believe in? Spirits, ancestors, nature, and rather than that dogmatic, pale religion that we were taught in school. And that's also why we didn't want our children to go to that school, because of that dogma. That foundation can really ruin a child. It almost ruined me, but didn't. So that's what I believe in the ancestors. And most of the time people think that we worship ancestors. No, we have respect for them. So before I eat libation, and then before harvesting something, you pause, then you take it. And that's what we were doing. So sometimes, as a herbalist, sometimes you could walk in the forest, and you have to have a good vibration. So for example, this plant, you want to give it to someone who is ailing, but it's not the plant that you wanted. So you can actually speak to the plant, and then you put that intention. Basically, words have power, that intention. So you can put that intention right here, and then you ask for permission, then you take it. And that's what we have been doing. You have that intention, because most of the time, maybe the new age herbalists and the like, they have become capitalistic, but don't realize that you don't have to charge someone for knowledge. You should share. There's no copyright on knowledge. You should share. So if I have the intention that I want someone to be healed, and maybe it doesn't have those properties, I can just take it, and then through my spirit, you put it inside there. And when you give the person who is ailing, na hatuwaiti wagonjwa, and that's why people usually don't get well, because you've already put something like huyu ni mgonjwa. You never say ni mgonjwa. You just say someone who has a dis-ease, ailing, or a dis-ease, not even ailing, dis-ease, not that they are sick. Kwa sababu ukiita mtu mgonjwa, you've already put that spirit in them, and then you actually heal them with whatever plants or sun gazing, maybe them walking barefoot. For example, also I'm not using soap, and I'm also not using toothpaste. What happens when you use those products? They also they calcify your pineal gland, and that's why sometimes you might be speaking to someone and they're not conscious, and you're like, mbona haelewi hizi vitu? Because their pineal gland is calcified. So that's why, as she was saying, you avoid fluoride-based toothpastes, because that calcifies your pineal gland. when you go barefoot and you're sun gazing, you're removing that calcification. So if I'm going to use deodorants, aluminium, titanium dioxide and the like, what's happening? I'm interfering because right here you've got your lymphatic system. You're supposed to get rid of that waste. Using deodorants is like taking a maize cob and then sealing my butthole, you know? So and then someone is like, you wouldn't do that, right? But now, why would you take titanium dioxide and all those products, put it here, and it's all about marketing? Most of what people are buying those products, 90% is marketing. And then you put, so your body is not getting rid of that waste. Just like your lungs have to open up by breathing exercises, walking, running, swimming, cycling. So that opens up your lungs. If for your skin, you can even do just brush, and then you're opening up, and then, like that for your lymphatic jumping up and down, you want your lymphatic system to be working. So why would I want to put deodorants and all those sprays and perfumes? That will lower your vibrations. Animals don't use it. And you'll even see people who have pets, they want their pets to smell like their carpets, 5-star carpets. So what happens is that we're putting a lot of toxins in our body and wondering why were we getting cancers, the breast cancers and everything. People are spraying. So where will you form the breast cancer if you've been spraying? But people are like, no, cancer, it's genetic and everything. But that's what people are saying, but our people are not having. So for me, I would use lemongrass, put it in the water. I would put aloe vera. I would use hibiscus or sesbania. All those you can use. And for her, I also put a little bit of that in her water, but she can tell you what she usually uses.
Actually, we would like to hear from your queen if it's any different from her.
For me, I normally don't. I have no problem with those or whatever roll-ons and whatever, so long as you use the one that is at least mild, that cannot at least make you have those the breast cancers and whatever. Yeah, but me personally, I don't use roll-ons. I don't use, but so long as I bathe with something that will refreshen me, and I don't have that in me, and I sometimes use some lemon. Yeah, you can use lemon, and you'll be having a nice scent. Yeah, and on the point of the spiritual ancestors, I'll tell you a story again.
Please do.
Yes. There's sometime I was with my uncle. I asked him how he came to have that big chunk of land in Ushago next to the river. He told me our grandfather alimuonesha pahali atanini. He used to he kwanza alionyesha the firstborn from their family. Alimuonesha ende ajenge huko. My grandfather alikuwa wale watu mpaka umuulize shamba yako itakuwa wapi, atakupea. So for the ones who are bold, because they used to call him Adolwe Kaburuti, meaning a dictator. He was very tough. So if you are bold enough as a man and you go and ask him utakuwa wapi shamba yako, atakuonesha. So when the first son went, akamuonesha huko karibu na river, there were reeds and rocks nini. Akasema akaambia babake, umenichukia sana ukanipea next to the river. Babake akamwacha. He never showed him another place until when he came back again. So when it reached my uncle turn, alimuonesha huko, he ran kabisa huko karibu na river because aliona itakuwa productive. Next to the river atapata access to maji, alafu the sand and everything. So he worked his back. Alingoa hizo mawe, hizo reeds, and then like akaform a camouflage. Hata ukiingia kwa boma yake, unaona venye unaingia ni kama it's forming a canopy. Yes. Unaingia kwa boma yake inakaa mzuri sana. It's very nice, and it's a nice place. So you're working na kungoa hizo mawe hizo because that place was marshy. Ilifanya mgongo yake ikakuwa na problem right now at his age. So akaniambia one time alikuwa he really wanted kutafuta, amezunguka akitafuta dawa ya mgongo. Then one time he's sleeping usiku. Then a dream came to him. Inamuonesha exactly pale shamba yake. shamba venye inakaa. Yeye anaona tu shamba yake kwa dream. Then ikabaki kwa maua. And then a voice said, hiyo dream. That is the medicine. Kwa hiyo shamba tu yake hiyo kubwa. Hiyo ndio dawa ya mgongo. And then it told him how to do it. Kuchukua which place, boil it, na ikunywe for a week, itaisha. That's what, anakastuka. It was mchana. Ameenda kupumzika, ametoka shamba. So he did that. Na after a week, akapona. So that's speaking about spiritual. Yes.
Interesting. Interesting.
I have a question. Okay, before I ask that, do you use, both of you, do you use vitu kama pombe or other drugs? Do you believe in using them?
Okay, for me personally, I don't use alcohol or drugs, but nakunywa busa. My dad used to make busa, my grandmother's nyumbani. Na si busa ya Nairobi, ile busa ya nyumbani yetu huko kwetu yenye you know, my grandmother from Uganda, my great grandmother, she was called Bahu. She used to my great grandmother, she used to teach my dad how to make the pombe. So my dad alikuwa anapendanga kutengenezea wazee pombe, the busa one, and then alikuwa ananionyesha venye unafanya, and then kuna style yenye unaweka paka mkarango yenye watoto wanakuja wanakula, machicha kando nini, those things. Then anatengeneza mlija with the wood, and then sasa anaita watu, and then people enjoy, put music kama tu venye ushago iko hizo music zetu za ushago hizo, the rumba, the ohangala, the yes, and then we play, and then tunakula, and then pia watoto walikuwa wanaitwangu wanakunywa busa, wanasema it's healthy, ile ushago it's healthy for the child unapatiwa. Na kitambo I used to be told by one of my grandfathers ati kitambo venye wazee walikuwa wanakutananga during, unajua wazee wanakutana ndio waweze kuongea, wazee kwa wazee. Unaweza sema maybe kama kuna kisa imefanyika mahali, ama one of the wazee once daughter wake married from where, so mnakutana mnaongea, mnajua if that boma ni mzuri pali mtoto wako anataka kwenda, unaona. So wakikutana, kwa hiyo mwenye ana handle hiyo mkutano na ametengeneza busa kwa wazee, they used to say that unatuma mtoto, unaangalia huyo mtoto, ukimuita venye ataenda. Kama ni ule mtoto unaona venye watoto si ati nifanye ati sijui nini, don't send that one. Or if it's huyo ndio inabidi utume, unatuma, but you don't give him busa. So for those ones who come by running, and you go by running, unakuja unaambiwa uruka mara 3, umerudi umeenda ukaita wazee, ruka mara 3, na mtoto anaruka mara 3, ndio unaambiwa uvute hiyo nini na mlija, ukunywe hiyo busa. So ukikunywa hivyo alafu unafukuza utoke hapo, that was just a way of congratulating you to you, you're a good child.
It's a small token.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. For me, what I usually use is kombucha, brew it, and also water kefir, like what we have had. And then also I was taught how to make by 110 fellow herbalist, how to make muratina, kiratina. So she gave me the SCOBY. And the beauty about, like what she was talking about, the busa, these are probiotics and they're very good. It's not like what is ailing people, because what they're putting is drugs inside. But when you look at the probiotics that we're talking about, are very good. So I would use muratina, I would use the kombuchas and water kefir, but also the time I also planted a bit of the herb. So I have herbs. So I believe in herbs. Herbs really are very good. So I planted one, because also you have to know where you're getting the source, cannabis sativa. And one thing about the herb people should realize is that they should not smoke it, but rather use it as a herb, as an infusion. But what happens because of the colonialists and neo-colonialists, people don't realize that all herbs are sacred and have their medicinal value. But unfortunately, people think that the only herb that you can take is tea and coffee. But they don't realize that also those are quite addictive. But when you look at, let's say, cannabis sativa, and people are using it the right way, not banning it, because once you ban it, you're wasting it. But if you use it as an infusion, it's different. For people who are recovering from chemotherapy, they'll be using it. People from glaucoma and the like, they'll use it. But people tend to abuse it. So you use it as an infusion. There's a time I also made it using mulberries, like cannabis sativa infused in mulberries, and then you take it. So you just take the leaves and you infuse them. But now people, because of lack of understanding, and people lack the consciousness, because someone is actually killing themselves more using industrial cooking oils as compared to using cannabis sativa the right way as an infusion. So yeah, I think being free spirits, we don't put it in a way that you can't do this, you can't do that. It's your level of consciousness. If you take something and you abuse it, then you're abusing your body, because your body is sacred. We are a part of nature. We are nature. So yeah, I'm really happy that I found mpendwa.
Speaking of herbs, I'll tell you again another story. When I was in my rural area, there's another guy. He's a herbalist. Walks barefoot, slim guy, just like my husband, and tall, has dreads and whatever. Normally, kila watu wanaonanga ni kama ni mchizi, anaona anasimama kwa maua, anaipea respect, ama plant anachuna. So that guy, watu nyumbani walikuwa wanapenda, unaona, unachukua mbwa because of maybe the monkeys kwa mlima na hizo msitu. So watu wanachukua mbwa, then they don't take care of the mbwa in the village. Huyo mjamaa akaonesha dust, anaitwa Ibolo, akaonesha dust. He went and akatafuta some herbs, so anazipaka. Kuna venye anazibeba he has these traditional bags, zimejaa nini, alafu akona kofia yake, the big ones, yeah. So anabeba the nini, alafu anatafuna hivi, alafu anaziweka hivi kwa nini. Akipata dogi yake anainisisha. Si dogi ni mkali, inakuja kwake, anatembea akizunguka in the village, anakuja anainusisha hiyo mbwa hivi, inamfuata. So akaanza kukua na mlolongo wa maumbwa. So in the village watu wanaona Ibolo ndio anakuja anasema, wacha tufiche mbwa yetu. So people started knowing how to take care of animals. Wacha tufiche dogi yetu, Ibolo asichukue. And he taught his dogs. Akona mlolongo like 20 something dogs. Na mtu anauliza zina feed aje. He doesn't feed on meat. So anafanya hivi. There's a time for hunting and he has taught them how to hunt. I remember nikienda mtoni. Alafu nikamwambia, nikastuka, akaniambia pita tu, hakuna shida, ninawafunza kuwinda. Wanawinda, kuna ndege na nawasaidia. Anakimbia and then anaenda na winda. There's this, is it a mountain lizard? Normally in Itesa it's called a gerger. Wanawinda mountain lizard zenye zinakula, unaona? So hazina time ati sijui ati unashindwa kulisha nini zako nini and it's, unajua the village plus kuna msitu and everything, so it taught the people in the village to take care of their dogs. Herbs kunisisha tu na zinafuata.
Wow. Now to my main question, we are here to learn and not to judge. There is this belief inakuanga na watu wengine that unaweza ishi freestyle, unakula kila kitu, fast food, all kind of chemicals and everything, you are drinking alcohol, unatumia all kinds of drugs, yani you are living, you are not protecting your body in any way, but unaishi for a very long time, even past 100 years. And there is you mwenye take a lot of time and care of your body and of whatever you eat, whatever you drink, whatever you use. Na sometimes at the end of the day unakufa at a young age. Do you believe in such, ama do you believe it's bad luck, ama do you believe, I really don't know, I'm asking, do you believe in that? Do you believe such a thing can happen?
Okay. I think Yeah, there's some people who have smoked and the like for many years but never got cancer. But I think that's the exception rather than the rule. So if you realize that your body is, this is nature, just like, for example, I say your gut, it's your second brain. The soil is also like the gut. If you use chemicals on the soil and use pesticide and all those chemicals, the first harvest will look good, but you're not doing anything for the soil. And like your soul is your chi. So what happens is that when you take foods that are not vibrant and not living like plants are living, what happens is that you're damaging your chi. And for example, some people are not conscious about that, so they'll continue doing that, and they might live for long and the like. But in essence, I don't think it's about how many years that you're going to live. I think it's about how you live every day. Because also in my belief, how I believe it is that it's not about how long you live, it's how you live every day. Because sometimes you could live for very many years and maybe you're abusing your body or you're not conscious. But how much life do you have in those? Because as much as people want to live for the future and plan and everything, you cannot overplan. You can make so much, but later on, you die at who knows how long. And also, I don't believe in death. I believe in more of transition, whereby the way a child was in the womb, then was born, and then from this, we transition. And that's the belief system that we as Africans had. There was nothing like death. Death was a celebration because you're transitioning, just like from childhood to adulthood. Then from there you transition. So there are those who might use whatever it is and say, I think one of the most funny things people have said, that you only live once. So you find out that, yes, someone might say that you only live once, but the way you've really defiled your body is something after many years, it becomes very tough. Because I was also on the other side, where you just say, I was eating everything and the like. But for me, it was a process. So people who still have that belief, I don't judge them because I know I was there. And all I can do is maybe plant a seed. Like when people come, we can prepare for them an ital meal. But we're not telling them not to eat the way they're eating. But we're also showing them that, kuna njia tofauti pia mnaweza kutengeneza chakula bila kuweka mafuta. And that's one thing people should remove from their diet, is that industrial seed oils. That one, it's like no bargain. Just remove that and you'll find out you're much healthy. Because I was telling someone that ukiwa na njaa na kukuwe na mafuta and this avocado, hii mafuta ni ile wanasema ati ni ya kukaanga chakula. And now there's avocado. We'll always choose the avocado.
Sure.
Even animals themselves, if you put cooking oil, industrial seed oils, and you put an avocado, your cat, if you have a cat, will always go for the avocado. But it will leave the seed oils. So if an animal would do that, and we think of ourselves as higher lives, if that animal, that cat or that dog is going to eat avocado, but it's not going to consume the cooking oil, and us who are really smart people, higher life forms as we call ourselves, we're taking the industrial seed oils. There's a disconnect there.
And again, life is what you make it. So we kama unaona inakuendea mzuri, that life of and you feel that is good and everything is nice, ndio? Si unaacha mtu anaishi venye anakuwa, like that is being a free spirit. And but if you feel ni kama kuna venye mwili yako unaona haikupeleki, or deep down you feel you want, this is the life, this is where I want to go, you can do the ital living or the vegetarian, whichever, because I think it is all about you.
You've said there is no death, you've said there's transition. So where do you think people go when they transition from living?
Okay, let me put it this way. Wherever they came from. Because when I was in the religious system, you're told about demons and angels and everything else. But that's something you've been taught. But I always ask, who taught let's say, a pumpkin seed to be a pumpkin. No one teaches a pumpkin seed to become a pumpkin. A pumpkin seed will always become a pumpkin. Maize seed will become maize. And all of them have their role to play. So why I say transition is that where the spirit came from is where it's going to go. So when a child is born, does it mean that the spirit gets into the child when the child is born or during conception? Or was the spirit always there just waiting for a body to manifest in? So the beauty about spirituality is that you don't have to agree with someone. Like us, we love one another and our love is growing, and I'm also learning from my queen. But we don't have to have the same belief system. And that's the beauty about that spirituality. So when I transition, I usually say I should be wrapped, my love. You're taking notes? Like in a banana leaf, like banana leaf, just cover in banana leaf and then just put the body in the ground and then no casket. Why kill another tree? And then from there, your spirit goes wherever it came from. It goes back to source. Just like you've got a piece of iron, when it rusts, it goes back to its source. It goes back. Except plastic, which is a problem, another story for another day. But everything which is natural goes back to the source. Us, we also go back to our source. We have got carbon, hydrogen, there's oxygen. We're spiritual beings. That's why there's air in us. There's the fire, air, earth. All of that is in, and water. That's why a baby born, 85% water. The baby is also in the amniotic fluid. The earth itself, it's over 70% water. The same thing with us. That's why we even have the temperature and everything. So we as those elements, when we transition, and I'm not telling anyone to believe what I'm believing, because that would be religion. And I'm not looking for wafwasi. So what happens, the spirit goes back to where it came from. It's a circle. The journey is a circle. And then most of the time says, lakini yangu, mimi nataka iwe hivi. If I started preaching what I believe in, it becomes a religion. It becomes dogma. And that's one thing I wouldn't want to do. I prefer people to believe whatever it is they believe. Without the book that was brought, you can actually sit down under a tree and that something will come to you. That Akashic records, whereby someone feels, where did I come from? When you ask yourself those questions. But you never ask yourself those questions, ati nimetoka wapi? When you have a 9-to-5 job and then you're going to school, you're doing everything that was meant to be. And that's the beauty about spirituality. We don't have to agree. It's just that there needs to be mutual respect.
Yeah. And again, on the question they have asked about those who go junk and they live I don't know how long life, and those who go maybe the healthy way and they live a short life. I think remind me of the 5 doctors. You say.
Oh yeah, I was talking about nutrition, exercise. You need sleep, sunlight, and your spirit.
So to me, it's just a food for thought for myself. I'm just thinking maybe they're going junk and they don't have stress. maybe they just have strong genes or so it's just having those thoughts in me. Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't mind to repeating the 5 doctors again.
Oh yeah, you have nutrition, which is very important. And then you have exercise. And when you talk about exercise, we're talking about movement. It doesn't mean that you have to go to the gym and then you start bisuli and working out body parts that you might never actually utilize. And then you have sleep. And sleep is very important. There's sleep and there's rest also. Enough sleep, enough rest. And then you have sunlight. That vitamin D. That's why you can take mushrooms, put them in the sun, and then they can be able to take that vitamin D you consume, and then your spirit. That's your belief system. So you find maybe those people who are living a healthy lifestyle, so-called what we are saying healthy. How is the nutrition? How is their exercise? Are they making movement? Are they been sitting for some time, but before we were walking? How is that? The exercise, the movement. It's not really about exercise, but movement. Don't follow it says you have to do this a number of hours. No. Even when you're going for a walk, don't time it. Like my love and I usually depend on what tunafanya mazoezi. We don't time it must be this amount of time. No, do that. And then also sunlight is very important. Getting that vitamin D. But you see, people are getting sunburned because they're not consuming enough vitamin C. And that's why you find in those Western countries, it's cold, right? So they don't have those fruits. So they're not consuming fruit. So when they come to the sun, the beautiful sun, they burn, So it's very important. And then your spirit is very important. Because you can do all the others, but you neglect one. It has to be holistic. Mind, body, and spirit. Because I could have a healthy body, gym guy, right? But am I getting enough sleep, stress, all that? So that spirit, how is your spirit? Because when one element is out of balance, it's like an African stew. 3 legs. If you remove one leg, you're like, you'll have to try and balance it. And it's very hard to sit on it. So this is something I learned, that there are those 5 doctors. And that's a simple way of looking at it. So when for the viewers out there, just remember, how are the 5 doctors in you? You don't have to think, Leo, how many calories have I consumed? You start counting calories, you will go crazy. Calories, I think we can leave to watch wazungu to count. But I say it in a nice way.
Considering you live for the land, and from what I've seen today, you enjoy taking care of your land and vitu zenye mnakuza and the bees and everything. Can I assume that is your main source of income, or do you do something else? Maybe you have a career or something else you do apart from taking care of your shamba.
All right. Yeah, so whenever you find that your legs have been beaten, there are usually some herbs that you can take and apply. But anyway, so many years ago, after I'd cleared education, I went and studied clearing and forwarding, and did it for about 7 years. But the problem, that was a very corrupt industry, and later on it also corrupts you. So you might be like, niko mtu safi sitaki. But at that very tender age, you become sucked into that, and then the corruption was quite high. So even myself, I became corrupted, but did it for 7 years. Then left, and then worked in my mom's kiosk for 3.5 years, which was good. So that's where I learned how to cook and the like. And then later on, also worked as a bike messenger. Ndio unaona sio mazgwembe sana. But they did their job, so cycling and doing deliveries. But later on, when I moved here in 2014, I realized I could no longer be teaching people swimming, which I was doing, teaching swimming to earn a living, which is also an interesting word, that we have to earn a living. We should just be living. So you have to really work. So when I moved here, the pace changes. The way you're thinking, you have to wake up early, do very many things. It changes. Sometimes you might wake up early, but you go with seasons. And that's how we as Africans were living before. It was about seasons. It's not about a 9 to 5. If you have to do something with a clock, you become stressed. A period is 45 minutes, you're learning, then you take a break, then you go again. But now, when I moved here, you have to go with the seasons. And that's how we are supposed to live, with the seasons. And so what I usually do here is sell the msitu produce, 24/19 msitu produce. So we would be selling honey, and we would also be selling things like the lovely meal that Mpendo and I prepared, the mihogo and whatever it is, and the bananas. So that's what we sell. And from time to time, I also volunteer and earn something. But as you saw the building which is in front there, we want, at least while we'll be doing our homeschooling, it will be able to bring in passive income. And that's very important as a young couple, that you have passive income, whereby you don't have to do a 9 to 5 job, but you have something that comes in, and you can also leave. That's something we as Africans need to do, leave some generational wealth. We take it together. Those challenges are ours. So I was even telling her the other day, when we have children, hey, I don't like Pampers. So I told her, we'll buy nappies and I'll help you. We'll wash them together. Because Pampers. I've seen guys, they
those plastics, they litter everywhere.
hapo kwetu kuna kasi, but it's a nini hii area where my mom lives kuna kasi menye inakaukanga, then natembea nikasikia vibaya. Nilikuwa napitanga hapo ninaonanga wametupa ni dumpings, unaona. Alafu ninarudi hivi ninapatana na mama mwingine amebeba zake anataka kuacha hapo. Nikamwambia unaacha hapo? Wacha hata nikachukua frame nikupige picha nitumie. Unajua mimi I'm working with the environment, sio ninamdanganya. Alistuka. Akarudi nikamwambia ni sitaki kuona, nitakuwa naangalia. By the way watu walipunguza and sio hata I'm not working.
Yeah, but it's very wrong.
That was wrong by the
environment.
To trash
Alafu why
nini the
plastic
diapers,
that are not even hata ukijaribu kuzichoma they don't. If they can't be recycled,
It's silicone. But it's not plastic.
It's silicone. Yeah, it bubbles when you burn it.
And when it jar maji, it becomes very big. And I made the decision that we'll be assisting one another, because if there's one thing I'm thinking, nitaiweka wapi? Even here, you'll not find a place where tunachoma taka. So people usually come and they want to throw something. I'm like, how will I dispose of it? You know?
How do you dispose your plastics or
What I
polythene?
usually do whenever I get plastic like this, I usually put them under a stone. I don't burn them, because what happens when you burn them, they release, there's some gases, volatile organic compounds. And people, VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Then people say, sinikadogo tu, choma tu. Then I start thinking, okay, I'm burning. Yeah, but it's only small. So I try and avoid this as much as possible. So whenever we have this, I keep them here, then I put them under the stones, or where the parking is, I put them there. Because the moment you burn it, where do you stop? So even here, we don't have a place to put them. So even when we harvest honey, we make sure that honey, we put it in bottles. Better we spend more money on bottles than plastics, because plastic at the end of the day, how can
it's one thing that we can't recycle.
Yeah, you know, and now we have got even straws. You know, if you go in for a party and then people are using one-time use straws.
Yeah.
And then I guess like, unakona soda? Eh. Ukona straw? Hakuna. Sasa tukunywaje? You know, so plastic for us we avoid. So even just put it in this as much, and then also nyungu. Because I realized the time when we were using the other pots, zinaisha. But this one, this is 500 bob. Kenyatta Market, you get this for 500 shillings. Ikitoboka, pika chakula kama hii, mokimo, it seals it. You know, it's like someone who has ulcers. Jaza pale. That's how you make it. If it has a hole, cook matoke inside. And then it seals it.
Oh, yeah, that's
So even when you're washing this, there's no time you're going to use, you know, like the other pots. And that's the beauty about this. Even when it's wearing out, hii mchanga itakusumbua. But like, you know, like even toothbrushes, when you use them, toothbrushes I used to use. But what happens when you're using toothbrushes? Zikiisha, that plastic, where does it go? People never ask themselves. The other day we were talking like condoms. When people are having sex and they're using condoms, people forget that there's that wear. Yeah. Those condoms, those particles and everything, where do they go? They affect the woman. And that's where you find the microplastics that have been found in a fetus. Then you ask yourself, this fetus, how did this fetus get it? It's the foods people are eating. So can you imagine in a fetus, microplastics found in a fetus? You can even do a search. Microplastics in a fetus. Then you ask yourself, where is that plastic coming in? People are like thinking, where is it coming from? Of those chemicals that people are putting, you know, but people don't say, utakufa bado, si bado utakufa. Like someone told me, oh, nakula be healthy, si bado utakufa.
So which kind of family planning do you prefer?
For the moment, when you started, she was telling my queen of semis, when you herbalist, tafuta. So you have things like bariki. Bariki is a castor. Ricinus communis, bariki. There's word about bariki. There's also neem oil, but we have not yet started using those. what happens when the time comes that we have to, we'll see a herbalist. What can you use? Because if she's not safe, I'm not safe. So sijamwachia majukumu siwezi kutumia CD. No, I can't do that for her. You know the guy said, hizo ni zako, ni mambo hizo si. No, I told her, since I'm not the leader, we plan. You see, what can we use that will also not affect you? Because if we use hormonal contraceptives, they'll affect her cycle. So it, and then with that, the hormones, what they do, contraceptives, they take in the B12, they take away her zinc, her calcium, her magnesium, her potassium. Then me, I'm like, it won't help, because when she's ailing, I'll have to look after her. And then if you decide, the Depo-Proveras, later on they found that they were harming women. The Depo, or the no plants, or the IUDs, the copper IUDs and everything. So it's up to us to like see which is the best way for us to be safe. If she's not safe, I'm not safe. Our future is not safe. Because I wouldn't want her to carry that burden. Hata ibebe peke yake hiyo jukumu. We have to work, but we're still working on that, so that at least at the end of the day, she's safe. And you know the other methods people have been talking about, withdrawal and the like. So his one is a job. Okay, so I would like to show you something else. Here we have got two papaya, Karika papaya, or popo as it's known.
Yeah.
This here is the female popo. This is the female popo. And the male one, this is the male popo.
Yeah, they're
Male.
distinctive.
So how would you tell it's the male? These look like testicles.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Yes.
so the doctrine of signature, you're allowed to touch. Yeah, you're allowed to touch. Don't. Yeah, so these are like testicles. So you can see, those are like the testicles, and then, so you actually use all of them. So a woman basically would use the male papaya, and then a man would use the female to help, because also this is very good in case of fungal infections and the like. You can actually use this. There are very many uses, and you can also use it as a vegetable. This, and also you can also use it as an infusion. Yes, and they're very good, and they do very well in this dry area. And then you can harvest them within a year, 9 months to 1.
They're ripe already.
They are ripe already.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry. You just put, like, this is male, there's a male, and then you have several females around. Yeah, so papayas are very good, and also they're very good.
Thank you, our viewers, for engaging with us. And thank you so much, Toto. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing with us your path and your wisdom. We have a lot to take home. So we appreciate what you're doing, even for the environment and everything. Truly, this is beautiful. Maybe in case somebody wanted to reach out, maybe you can share your contact or your social media handles. That way, maybe they can talk to you a bit more.
All right, I'm really appreciative to you, Dee, and to your team for having come to 2419 Msitu. Mpendwa and I are really happy to have you, and it is a period of time whereby we have had time to share and also enjoy a meal, so we really appreciate. So on behalf of Mpendwa also, I say thank you. If someone wants to reach out to us, I have handle whereby IG, where it's just my name, Toto Chipeta, Toto, then Chipeta, CHIPETA, and you can also reach us on this telephone number 0722 397753. Let me repeat, 0722 397753, and my name is Toto with a small letter T.
Until next time.
Asante D.
Asante sana.
Thank you muno.
Yes,
Tokuonana.
karibu.
Dayo wige muno.
Dayo. And until next time, I'll see you on the next edition. Bye.